Are we on? Sweet. Good evening, friends. Well, I think that was very well done, but I know we can do better to get the energy flowing, the pulses pumping, the blood flowing. Good evening, friends. That is it. Good evening and welcome to Littleport Christian Spiritualists. It is a pleasure to welcome you all here into Littleport Village Hall this Thursday night. It is a pleasure to see so many familiar faces. I get in trouble if I say old faces. It's also a pleasure to see some new faces as well, which is also very, very wonderful. And you're all most very, very welcome. Now, I should warn you all. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, so please do not swear, because the microphone will pick it up and I will get in trouble. And I've had enough comments online already this week. But of course, we welcome our friends in this hall and at home so that we can share together the truth of spirit. And tonight it gives me great pleasure to tell you that the truth of spirit will be shared by a very good friend of mine personally and of this church. And I will, of course, warn you all, good luck. Friends, give a big Littleport welcome to Rev John Ennis. John has supported this church throughout lockdown by being a medium online, as many others have. And finally, we get to see him again in the flesh, which means tonight he's wearing his trousers.
I wear them all the time.
Me, as we're in public, I can't wear the tutu anymore, but you all know that I probably would, let's be honest. But first, a very important announcement. It is with great sadness that I have a personal announcement to make. That of my own personal retirement within the New Christian Spiritualist Society as the technical director.
You still got to put up with him talking.
You've still got to put up with me here. In fact, even more so now, because it gives me great pleasure to thank young Jack, who has taken on the burden, and it truly is a burden. Thank you. What it does is it frees me up to give more focus on the work of spirit, because that is what we are here for. Thank you. And more about this one in a minute. You see, coming together as a group is about celebration, about love and upliftment and kindness. And of course, when someone special has a birthday, it must be celebrated. And I can inform you that tomorrow, the Master of Bulls, the MC of Raffles, and the giver of Bully's special prize, our lovely young Hannah, has her birthday tomorrow. So, happy birthday, Hannah! And to quote one great historical figure, let them eat cake. For tonight we have cake. It is all cupcakes, so it's all COVID safe, don't worry. But we have cakes here tonight to celebrate. Not everybody will want one, it's fine. We could cut them in half if we get a knife and zoom it. But of course, friends, celebration is important. But also that truth. And of course, it's at this point, either myself or Reverend Lynn would come to the platform and give some form of philosophical debate. Now, as you might have noticed, there's no screen tonight. There's no chair filled with her ladyship's presence, so she couldn't make it, but she does send her love. You might also notice that if there's no screen, somebody is a little bit closer than up north, but more about that later. But what I'd like to speak to you all tonight about is something really, really quite important and very close to my heart. It is, of course, whether we are right and righteous to do what it is that we do. As an individual, if you've ever mentioned that you've gone to a spiritualist church, to a certain quarter of individuals, I'm sure you will have had the sudden in-breath through the teeth. And even more so if you say it's a Christian spiritualist church, but that's another story. We spiritualists get it in the neck because we say that freedom is for all, free will is for all, love is for all, that the message of the world of spirit is God-given, and that those messages that are given by humans is flawed and can be fallible and wrong. And yet, those messages are the ones that are used against us to say we are wrong, we are inaccurate. Now, of course, it's not just Abrahamic faiths that do take a pop at us, but they're pretty good at it by now. Interestingly enough, there's only one Abrahamic faith that has written into its rules that anything given by man can be corrected. Any God-given law given by a physical being can be overwritten. It's not Judaism. It certainly isn't Christianity. It's Islam. Because they recognized that humans are flawed and fallible, and sometimes we get it wrong. So if someone like me stands here and says, you should do this, and everyone else turns around and says, Nick, you're full of rubbish, wrong, goes against what the governor says, you can correct it. You can't in any of the others. So before we judge other religions, let's get our facts right and learn about them, and learn about the true meaning behind them. Because I tell you this much, we are going to need to do that more than ever. Use our own conscience, our own heart, and our own choices, and recognize that what is good and noble in the world of spirit is filtered into every religion, every faith, every way of life, every practice of religion without it being a religion. So long as love and compassion rules, what else matters? Deny that one. We can't. Look at the individual who does the practice, not the practice itself. Speaking of which, when I was first raised a good Christian boy before I found spiritualism, one person I took great issue with was St. Paul. Spiritualism gave me the ability to actually be free of conscience and thought, to actually study and understand the meaning behind what is said rather than what I was told was said. So when people quote St. Paul, us spiritualists, saying that we are wrong for telling us that we should love each other, when we are wrong for saying that free will and love is the greatest gift, I have to ask why. And the answer is simple. Because the messages that were given by St. Paul was not of this time. It was not of a time where we have had all of the images put before us. I don't normally put the sign up every week, but I was inspired to do so. And a few seconds after I was inspired to do so, that young lady over there said, are you actually going to get off your backside and put the sign up this week, Nick? You might as well have done. The symbol and logo of the New Christian Spiritualist Society has a book on it. And on that book is a passage from Corinthians where St. Paul talks about the gifts of speaking in tongues, the gifts of discerning spirits, the gift of healing. Sound very familiar? It does to anyone who's been in a spiritualist church or to a demonstration of mediumship or a spiritual centre. There's a few of us around here, isn't there? But I tell you what else he wrote. Somebody offered to me a passage from Corinthians today. And it says about false prophets, all the usual attacks we get. But if you read the next one, here's where the fun begins. See, Paul was a switched-on bloke, often misquoted. And one particular misquote was how his works was talking about the dead being raised up. 2 Corinthians 11 and 2 Corinthians 15, where he tells us that if Jesus was raised up, then so is everybody else. And that everybody will be raised at the final trumpet. And of course, we living in these times recognize that final trumpet as being from Revelations. Number one, it was a good few years after Paul passed to spirit before that book was actually committed to text. And one thing that Jesus did really, really well was teach his disciples, his development circle, to speak normally, to not rely on scripture and quote things the way it was written, but actually make it meaningful and understandable. So he would have spoken to what people would have known about and understood. I love where this is going. Today, the 18th, is it the 18th or 19th of August? Thank you. I'm not very good with my dates, unless they're up and coming and I need reminding. September the 6th, 2021, begins Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. And during that festival of trumpets, many trumpets are blown. The final trumpet signaling in the new year, a new beginning, a new upliftment of life and love and hope. When Paul spoke about the spirits of those that have gone before us being raised up into the heavenly realms with Jesus and all the prophets and all the saints, he wasn't talking about doom and gloom and revelation. He was talking about a celebration of a new beginning. We as spiritualists know that as much as the passing of the physical is painful for us, that new beginning, that new start for those that have gone to spirit is a rebirth, is a new beginning, is a bright and new year. Much like the sound of the final trumpet in the Jewish New Year. So I say that Paul was not only a very good spiritualist, he also knew that we didn't have to wait for the world of spirit to be open to us. He knew that it was there and present and ready. The way, the truth, the life. The way is being good to one another and kind to one another. The truth is that heaven is open to all. And the life is eternal. We cannot put conditions on unconditional love. I've said that every week. And I will continue to say it until that message gets through. You cannot put conditions on love. You cannot put conditions on God's word. What we do when we come together is our way of expressing our faith in the afterlife, in the world of spirit and in God. But it doesn't really matter so long as we're good to each other, kind to one another, accepting of one another. And woe betide anyone who says and quotes to me that we should be humble in order to put any of me or you spiritualists down, because that is bigotry and two-faced, but it's also very human. Which is why those that know the word of spirit put in a condition that the human word can be changed, that the human words are flawed, and that every time we get some support and love from the world of spirit, it's an update on the truth to help us grow. Because only by loving each other, being kind to one another, and respecting each other's standpoints, can we do what we say every time: make earth as it is in heaven. God bless you all, and thank you for listening. Well, friends, it's a speedy start to the service this week because I haven't got to worry about what buttons I've got to press. Somebody else has. So it's not my problem. No, it really is. I look after it. But I do know that now is the time for a reading. Beaming himself directly all the way from Littleport Village Hall, Reverend Alan. Either or.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to be back here. I do miss it. Tonight's reading, I actually chose before I came down, and it's called His Gift to Me by Kevin Daniel. I have to give you who it's by. Could I pinch it off the internet? It's copyrighted. Never mind. To be the one you want to be is tough, because the world you see will offer you things that lead you astray and send you on a different way. But hold to that, to what you know, to what you believe, and don't let go. Because it's what you believe and not always see that becomes your reality. So to be the one you want to be requires one much greater than me. To provide me strength and peace within, it's his gift to me for trusting him. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, for those that don't know, me and Alan don't talk about what the reading is and what I'm going to talk about, because I change my mind about 20 times a day. Alan is locked in as soon as he picks it. And what a wonderful way for Spirit to identify that we can be ourselves no matter what and still be united, because that's the gift of Spirit. I think thank you, Alan, so much. I love the way they do that. And to the extent that I'm going to be a little bit naughty and quote my great aunt, Mum's Aunt Jill, her words would have been thus: well, bugger my hookem. I'm 43 years old in October and I still don't know what a hookem is, but if anyone can tell me, that would be great. Anyway, one of the greatest gifts that we have, of course, is healing. And healing is an important practice of mediumship within our way of life. Sending out our thoughts to all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort. Providing nourishment, refreshment, and upliftment to all those that need it. Just like filling a glass of water for your medium. Healing is something that you don't have to have any training to do, other than having a good heart and a desire to help, and then the ability to ask. And that's what we do in our absent healing moment that we have in our services. So friends, let's join together and send out our thoughts. We will have the healing prayer. We will have the healing silence with a little bit of a twinkle in the background. And then we will end with the word, Amen. as we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, here we bring unto you all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, be they sick in mind, body, or spirit, that it may please thee to heal them. This we ask for those we know, for those we do not know, and for those who have no one to ask for them. We ask for them now. Amen.
Amen.
Well, friends, now is the time in our service, 10 minutes earlier than normal, which is a good thing, really. Now is the time in our service where I hand over to John for his demonstration of mediumship. Should he come to you, please answer in a clear voice with those magical words, yes, no, or don't know. It doesn't really make much difference to John or Spirit, but it does to us lot in the hall being nosy. But of course, most importantly, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Share your love and upliftment and good graces with a good friend of this church. Friends, I give you, Rev John Ennis!
Right, good evening, everybody. It's nice to be able to see everybody. Obviously, when I've been doing the onlines for Littleport, I only ever get to see 4 or 5 people. So it's nice to be able to see everybody. I will apologise. Yes, I am good looking from the chest upwards, but unfortunately, you've got to put up with the chest downwards tonight. And it's not a pretty sight, but hey ho, that's life. Also, what's going to happen tonight? I haven't got the faintest idea. I trust in Spirit implicitly. In fact, I trust Spirit more than I trust myself. So I just let Spirit come in and I just let Spirit get on with it. What I will say is, and normally I've been pretty good over the years, that there will be no swearing. But I do have to put a but, because over the last 4 or 5 weeks they've been pushing me to the limits somewhat. And I get very confused when they start using slang words like Nick's had tonight, because I'm going, am I swearing or aren't I swearing? And I have to go with what they're telling me. So please just think outside of the box. It may not be the people who come through who you would expect to come through. And we'll just see what happens. If by any chance you don't understand who it is, please let me know. I don't want you taking somebody's mum or dad home with you because they want to go to their own relatives. So just let me know. But 9 times out of 10, my guides will tell me if you're struggling, and I'll tell you where to look for them. Also as well, for those of you who come here regular, you'll notice Nick hasn't got a microphone on and I haven't got a microphone on. Because Nick told the techno man tonight, he says, I'm loud enough, and there's only one other person who's as loud as me. He says, and he's the medium tonight. He says, so we don't need no microphones. So if the people at home can't hear me, tough.
We've got that one for the ones at home.
Yeah. Also as well, me and electrics do not mix. And it's nothing to do with my age neither. At one time I used to do private readings and I used to put them down on disc. And then I played the disc back to make sure it was working. They'd take it home and it wouldn't work. They'd bring it back and it would work. So I had to stop doing it, because otherwise there are all these people sitting in my house listening to a message that I've given them weeks and weeks and months ago. So as I say, me and electrics don't mix. So we'll see what happens, we'll see where we're going. Who's coming in first? Okay, I need to go to the gentleman with the dark blue t-shirt with the writing on the top left hand of his breast. Yeah. I need to come to you. I've got a gentleman here. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 medals on his chest, and he's shouting and bawling left, right, left, right, left, right. And he's just going at you. He's going, "What's up with you, boy?" He says, "Shoulders back, chest out." He says, "You're sitting there slouched over, feeling sorry for yourself." He's going, "No, no more of that. Come on, get out there." He's going, "Start living." Oh, okay. He's also saying as well, "No, you're not old." He's going, "You'll know when you're old because you'll be sat with me having a cup of tea." Oh, okay. He's changed his mind. You'll be sat with him having a pint and a chaser. So he's saying, you're a long way off from that at the minute. But as he comes in, he's just coming in to give you a little bit more strength and to give you a little bit more upliftment. He's telling me also to say to you, he knows that things have been hard for you over the last 12 months, but he's saying in particular, even over the last 5 or 6 weeks, he says, because you're trying to do everything to please everybody else and you're trying to cram as much in as you can. He says, and then you're going, "I'm absolutely shattered and I haven't done anything yet." So he's saying, just take your time a little bit. I do want to bring a lady in for you as well. And as this lady comes in, she's about 5'3", 5'4". She's got silvery grey hair. It's quite straight as I see it. But she's just telling me that she does like to go to the hairdressers as a treat. But she's just opened her purse up and she's going, "I've got more moths in here than I've got coppers." So I know that money was tight for her, bless her. But she's saying, she just comes in and she does come in with a lot of love and a lot of support for you. I don't know if it's the same lady. I'm going to say I've got another lady who comes in, but with this lady, I've got issues in the stomach with her and I've got issues around the waterworks with her as well. And she's joining with the other lady. And okay, they both want to embarrass you. Luckily enough, I can only see it, nobody else can, because one stood each side you and they're giving you a kiss on the cheek each. But they're saying they would have done that if they were down here. But they'd always do it when you were surrounded by your friends, and they'd always take the mickey out of you. But she's saying it's a sign of affection, but also she says it's just to show you that we still love you. And they're very, very proud of you, both the ladies. The gentleman, as I said, I know he's saying shoulders back, chest out, but he wants you to know how proud of you he is also. And he says, "Thank you for talking about me." He's showing me he's telling me about some photograph albums. So I don't know if you've been looking through photograph albums recently or if you've come across some older ones. But he's saying, yeah, they need sorting out a little bit because some of them's come off the mountains, but he's saying everything will be all right. Okay, he's having a little chuckle to himself. He says, "You'll be quite surprised what you find on the back of photographs." He says, "because we used to write everything down." So I'm not saying it was your Uncle Ted, but you might find it wasn't your Uncle Ted. In actual fact, who you thought was your Uncle Ted was actually your Uncle Jack or something like that. So different names for different occasions. But as I say, from the gentleman, very, very proud, a lot of strength and a lot of support. From the ladies, a lot of love and a lot of comfort. Okay, right, he's big enough as it is. Okay, sorry, I've got to give you a steak and kidney suet pudding with mashed potatoes, do it again, are you sure? Okay, marrowfat peas and onion gravy. And she says, yes, you can break it all up and mix it all together if you want. And I'm going to leave all that with you and say thank you very much. Okay, can I go to the lady at the back with the blue top whose glasses are looking at the ceiling? Because your glasses are supposed to be on the end of your nose, you know, it helps you see better. And this lady's also telling me as well, you were given glasses for a reason, so stop complaining that you've got headaches all the time, because if you put the glasses on the end of your nose, your headaches would disappear straight away. And as this lady comes in, I feel I'm on mother's side of the family with this lady. I'm not saying it's mother, but I'm on mother's side of the family with this lady. And I was struggling to get my words out. So I'm going to say that this lady struggled towards the end to get her words out as well, because she's just saying my mind was going at 90 miles an hour. She says, but unfortunately my mouth would only go at 30 miles an hour. And she's just saying as well, she never had the problem in her younger days. She says, and I never had the problem in my middle-aged days. She says, it's just in the olden days when in her older days, when nobody was taking notice and she wanted to speak quick, she says it let her down because she couldn't do it. But she's, no, don't, okay, right. She's coming in around you and I'm going to have to start talking fast because she's talking fast as well. And she's telling me, she says, you need to get the books out and you need to start studying. Stop telling everybody else around you to do the studying. She says, you've got the studying to do yourself. She's also saying as well, and I hope they're good friends or whatever, either side of you, because she's saying you need to practice more in the kitchen as well. And she doesn't mean just putting the kettle on to make yourself a drink. She's on about the cooker that's in the corner. So she says, if you put your mind to it, she's saying you'll be all right. And she, oh, really? Is that her freezer? Okay. I'm all right. She just showed me your freezer and your fridge, and everything's a ping meal. Yeah, we'll have one of them tonight. Yeah, we'll have one of them for lunchtime. Yeah, we'll have one of them tomorrow. Ping. She's going, yeah. She says, I know you lead a busy life. She says, but you can look after yourself at the same time. And she says, if you make a bit of time, she says, things will get a lot better for you. Also as well, she's saying there is a lot of changes going on around you at the minute. And, oh, okay. She says, you started the ball rolling. It's no good you saying, stop, I can't keep up. She's saying, you've started it, you've got to go with it. And she says, you can try putting the brake on as much as you want. She says, but we're still going to take you there. So it's about you now moving on, moving forwards. She's also shown me as well, she's telling me I've got to give you a set of keys. So I want to say new beginnings, but also possibly for you will have the choice if you wish to move home also. And she says, it's your choice, but the keys are there and they're dangling in front of you. If you want them, all you've got to do is grab them and go for it. Right. Have you got a daughter? Right. Is this? I've got to give a young female who is around you, and on about this young female that it's as if you just need to put your arms around her and say everything's going to be all right. You can talk to me, and I can give you as much help and guidance as you need, but you don't give her the answers. You can point her in the right direction, saying, and the more you point them in the right direction, the more they'll respond to it. And they have got a lot to look forward to, and there is a great deal for them to look forward to. I'm bringing this gentleman in now because he's been quite patient because the lady wanted to talk. And as this gentleman comes in, I've got a tightness in my chest, but in particular over the left side of my chest. So I know I've got an issue around the heart with this gentleman. I'm also very wheezy with this gentleman as well. And he's, okay, he's, oh God, this thing. He's saying, it's all right. I know in his younger days he used to smoke about 40 or 50 cigarettes a day because I can smell it. But he's saying he had a good life and he lived it to the full. And he's also saying when he passed over to spirit, he says he left everything in a mess and everybody else had to pick everything up and sort all the bits and pieces out. But he's saying, you were always a symbol of strength because it didn't matter what was happening inside, you portrayed as being strong and willing to help all the time, when inside you were actually hurting as much as everybody else was. And he takes his hat off to you for it. What he's saying is as well, now is the time that you can start showing that emotion. Because he's saying you've got the people around you now who you can trust. You all right? Yeah. He's saying you've got the people around you who you can trust. And I'm not opening it up because I know you've had a lot of trust in the past issues. But he's saying, the people that are around you now, yes, you can trust them. Right. It's all right. I don't know where it fits in. All he's telling me is family and he's banging their heads together for you. because he says they need their heads banging together. But he's saying people on the family side, people will be coming back into your life slowly but surely. But he says it's up to you how close you allow them to come in. But, okay, he wants you to know also that there is opportunities on your career path, if that's what you want. He said the only person holding you back is you. And he's from him, and okay, from him, and there is another gentleman in spirit. The reason I'm struggling to speak is the other gentleman, I've got problems in the throat area with this other gentleman, and I'm having a lot of problems speaking. But the two gentlemen are joining together, and they're saying, you're a little bit like these two gentlemen in respect of you're your own worst enemy at times. But they want you to know that if you put your mind to something, yes, you can do it. You're still quite a young lady, so I can't tell you what to do. But what I will say is there's a uniform and there's a briefcase. So I can see you taking a professional pathway if that's what you want to do. When I say a uniform, it could just be a suit, but to you, it would be a uniform. So lots of opportunities there. It's all about you going on and achieving what you want to achieve. And yes, you've still got that fight and determination inside. Sometimes it's a little bit weak, but yes, you are getting there. And there's a lot of love and support and strength coming to you. And I'll leave all that with you and say thank you very much. Ooh, Barbara, can I come to you, Barbara, please? I know, I'm surprised as well. As I was drawn to you, I've got to bring a lady in for you. And I can't sing, as you know, so I'm not going to sing. But I've got the Beverley sisters here, and the singing sisters. So I want to say this, I'm coming through on a sisterly vibration. And she's saying, in a lot of respects, we were chalk and cheese. She says, but when people got to know us, we were very, very similar. She says, the only trouble was we were too similar. So when we were in the same room for more than 5 minutes, she says, we used to lock horns, something terrible. But she says, she always loved you to bits and you always loved her to bits. But you could only love each other when there was a lot of mileage between you. You used to find it very hard to show that affection when you were close. Okay, right. She's saying the only time we showed affection was when we said hello and when we said goodbye. She says the bit in the middle you don't want to know about. But I do feel with this lady, she could be very serious. And I do feel with this lady, she set her mind as to what she wanted to do as a very young age. And she wasn't going to be swayed either way. And she's saying, yes, her life could have been different, but she's saying if she came back again, she'd be like, do exactly the same thing. And she's saying it's just who she was. What she's saying as well, though, is that at times she was very jealous, but also envious of you. Because she's saying you were so easygoing and you had so many people who you were special to and they were special to you. And she said, and you never had to work at it. They were always just there for you. And she says, no matter what happened, she says, if hubby wasn't there and your daughter wasn't there, there was always somebody there who'd put their arms around you and say it's going to be all right. And she, as much as she would have liked it herself, she's saying, I don't know if I could have coped with it. No. Okay, right. Do you want me to say that? So I've got to ask because it's a public place. She's saying she found it very hard to deal with emotions. She's saying in here, I was a quivering mess, but she had this harsh exterior and she couldn't show weakness. And she says, as much as I wanted to cry and as much as I wanted to cuddle people, she says, I couldn't. But she can say, and she's got such a lovely smile on her face. She really has a lovely smile on her face. Oh, okay, right. I don't know if she was a big lady or not, but she's telling me, I've got to tell you, that she's alternating between a size 12 and a size 14. And she says she's happy with her lot. But more importantly, she wants you to know now just how much she loved you. And she says she has been around you. She says, and I feel with this lady as well, she didn't always wear perfumes, because she's just saying you're getting smells of different perfumes around you. She says, it's me. She says, but I don't know what's good and what's not. She says, I'll just pick a bottle up and squirt it. She says, and it's just her way of letting you know that she's there. But no, she's coming in around you. She's also saying as well that there is a lot of change going on around you, but she's saying it will be changed for the better. And she says it's about looking forward. She's also saying as well that she is looking after her niece, which will be your daughter. And she says, don't worry about her. She says, I'll make sure that everything's all right. I don't know if she was or not, because she just put a nurse's uniform on. She's going, I can be a Florence Nightingale when I have to be. Did she? All right. Well, she just put this nurse's uniform on. She's going, I can be a Florence Nightingale when I have to be. And she is coming through, as I say, with a lot of love for you, but also a lot of love for the whole family as well. Okay. I don't ask questions, but she's saying, how can you have such long hair and not have headaches? She says, mine touched my shoulders, she says, and have a splitting headache. She says she always had to keep hers sort of restrained. But no, she does come through, as I say, there is a lot of love coming to you and a lot of strength. I just want to bring this gentleman in quickly, and it's not the hubby. As this gentleman comes in, I feel with this gentleman I've had a stroke purely because my left arm has gone very weak. So I know it affected his left side. He's also telling me as well that he was a very stubborn man and he wouldn't listen to the doctors. Okay. Are you sure? Okay, right. He's telling me he was a little bit like me. He's saying, the doctor says you'll be in a wheelchair. I'm not getting in one of them. I'll use a walking stick, but I'm not going in a wheelchair. You've got to stop smoking. It's not killed me. I'll stop when I want to stop, not when you tell me to stop. And this is the sort of gentleman he was. And he's still the same up there. He says, if somebody tells him it's white, no, it's not, it's black. And he will argue it all day long. But no, he's coming in also. And he's just here. Oh, okay, right. He's here because he's telling me that you have a lot going on in your head at bedtime. Okay, right. I've got to say this the right way because she'll hit me afterwards otherwise. It's as if during the daytime, you're your normal self and the thoughts go in and they go out and it doesn't bother you. But as soon as you start getting ready for bed, it's exploding in your head and you don't know what to do with it. He's saying, just alternate try something different at bedtime. Well, not bed, 3 or 4 hours before bedtime. Obviously, when you're working, it's a different ball game. But when you're at home, just try different things. If you don't read a book, read a book. If you do read books, then leave them alone. If you have a tea, have a coffee. If you don't like tea or coffee, have a warm juice or tonic water or something like that. Just try and change those habits for the last 3 or 4 hours of the day. Also as well, he's saying, if you speak to him and say, I need a good night's sleep, he will clear your mind for you. The only trouble is he's got quite a hard bass broom, and when he clears it, he might clear everything out of it. So he's saying, be careful what you ask for and how you ask for it. But he does come through with a lot of strength and a lot of upliftment. Okay, right. He says, you've got all the papers in front of you, you don't know what to do with them. Have you been writing over the years a poem here or a thought there? Yes. Well, he's saying, just look at them with a fresh pair of eyes. It may not be in one thing. That may go that pile, that in that pile, that in that pile, that in that pile. Then you can sort out. And then it's about joining it all together. So where you might think it's supposed to be one story, it could be 4 or 5 completely different things. So it's just about now, right, you know what you want from your future, and your future plans are very realistic. You have been biding your time just recently, but come the August bank holiday or shortly afterwards, everything's going to start slotting into place. So be careful what you wish for and how you wish for it. But everything will start slotting into place after the end of the August, the last bank holiday in August. So that's when everything will start slotting into place. But a great deal of love, strength and support, and I'll leave all that with you and say thank you very much. Can I go to lady right at the back, please? Thank you very much. And as I'm coming to you, I have got the gentleman with the beard, but I need to bring a lady forward for you first. And as this lady comes in, I know you're sitting down and you're quite a distance from me, but the lady's just gone and stood behind you, and she's only a little bit taller than you are. So I'm going to say that this lady's only about 4'10", 4'11", maybe 5 foot at a push. No, my mother's coming, she's going, no, she's not as tall as me. So I know she's a diddy lady. And she's coming in around you because she's saying, you keep getting told, put your feet up. You keep getting told, make sure you have a drink. You keep getting told, make sure you eat properly. And what do? Yeah, I'm doing all that. Yeah, I'm doing all that. They're going, so why is it 6, 7 o'clock at night? You've still not had enough to drink and you've still not had enough to eat. But she's saying, you're like all the rest of the women in the family. We've always got something else to do. And we always put ourselves at the bottom of the pile. So it's very much a case of, if there's anything left over, yeah, I'll have it. If there's not anything left over, you go, I'm too tired, I just can't be bothered. But she's saying there's nothing wrong with that. What she's also saying as well is, I've got to give you a sledgehammer, and you've got to knock them walls down that you keep building around yourself. You say, get them walls down. Let the people who want to come in. Let them give you a cuddle. Let them talk to you. Let them take you on a holiday. Let them take you shopping. Don't be strong and stubborn, she says. If I'd have listened when I was here, she says, my innings might have lasted a little bit longer. She says, but there again, that was me. She says, my trouble was I sat down when I should have stood up, she says, and I went just like that. And you're very much like that. As long as I'm moving, nothing will happen to me. When I sit down, that's when the trouble starts. She's saying, no, it won't. So she says, knock them walls down and let them people come in around you. Let them give you that love and that support. Because you do need it. As much as you say you don't, you do. It's also, oh, shut up. It's all right, your other ass jumping in. Yeah, so it's all about just looking after yourself and moving on. I'm going to let him come in because he's doing the editing now. And he's coming in, and I don't know if this is something he used to do, but he's just put a big horse's harness around his head, and he's pulling funny faces. And he says, I should have been a world champion, me. I said, well, you can't be, you've got too many teeth. Gurning. Yeah, so he's doing that and he's pulling faces at you because he's saying, "Would you stop being so serious?" He says, "You always used to be a laughing joke." He says, "You've been serious all the time. Let your hair down, enjoy yourself. Have a Baileys, have a martini, have a baby sham." You all right?
Yeah.
I've got some funny noises coming from that corner. Yeah, so he's saying, yeah, so just let your hair down. He says, he wants you to be you. He says in front of everybody, yeah, I'm me. Only trouble is, your children know you better than you know yourself. And they know that you're not being you. As much as they'll play along with it, when they're outside, they're going, I'm worried about her. But he's saying, come on, get a grip. He doesn't want to dwell on it, but he says, he knows that you wanted to go before he went. He says, but you can't have all your wishes. And he's saying, he thought he would be better off up there anyway. He says, but they all talk more up there, he says, than you did down here. He says, so he's gone from the frying pan into the fire. I'm going to get this tonight. So he says, gone from the frying pan into the fire. But he is telling me as well, where are we going? Okay. Right, it's all right, we're going to Margate. And he's got his parker on with his RAF roundel, as I call it, on the back. He's going, it's Mods and Rockers weekend. He says, we'll get it sorted out one way or the other. And he's on his Vespa, the one that chucked out all the smoke. He used to do more oil to the gallon than it did petrol to the gallon. But he wouldn't swap it for the world, he's saying. Really? Okay. I don't know. Okay. I've got to get this the right way around. He said, you have always said that you would be late for your own funeral. And Nick has always said that he would always be late for his own funeral. He says, well, I've topped you all because I was late for my own funeral.
Yes.
He says, even though we left early, he's on about a motorbike. So I don't know if there was an accident with a motorbike or not. But what he's saying to me is, he says, I saw all the motorbikes, even if you didn't.
I know exactly what that means.
There
was an incident at the motorbike in Littleport that slowed us down.
Right. He's telling me, do you remember the big three-wheeler bike that was there?
Yes.
I was sat on the back of it. He says, laughing my cotton socks off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. I take it this is a wind-up. He's got a pair of shorts on. He's got his Jesus sandals on. And he's got white ankle socks. But then he puts his ordinary trousers on, he puts his shoes on, and he's still got his white socks on. I said, have you got any other coloured ones? He went, yeah, but my white socks are more comfortable. He said, and I like to make people laugh. And that's what he's about. He just wants people to laugh and to be happy. And he says, you've got a lot. Okay. Although it doesn't seem it at the moment, you have got a lot to look forward to. And you've got a great deal to look forward to as well. I don't like going too far ahead, but he's telling me I've got to tell you that there will be a new life for you to look after next year. But he's saying a life. He's not saying a baby. So it could be a baby, it could be a cat, it could be a dog. He's just saying a life. So he says, you will... I'm not saying it's yours, it may be somebody else's, but you end up looking after it because they want to go to work or whatever. So he's saying, well, that will keep you occupied. But there again, if your children get their own way, I do see they grow up into big dogs, you know.
Yes, they do.
They'll take her for a walk.
Yeah.
If your children have their way, you'll be all right for the first 9 months. After that, don't take them for a walk because they'll take you for the walk. unless you've got a skateboard. It's only a spaniel, but they've got legs on them and they like running. So, oh, it's a Springer Spaniel, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, I don't know exactly what the breed is, but yeah, it is. That sort of, yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows. I've let another secret out the bag. Hey ho, I'm always in trouble. Right, so I'm going to leave all his love, all his strength, all his support, but he's getting a shovel and a pickaxe. He's saying, I will get her out that chair. He says, if it's the last thing I'll do, I'll get her out of that chair. Because he wants you to get out and about again. The lady's coming in, and she's just coming back in, and she's going, look, she says, I know you know your way around the kitchen. I know you know what's good for you and what's not good for you. She says, the thing is, when you get your cooking head on, you can cook a lovely roast dinner and do all the naughty ones at the same time as well. So she says, no, give it another way, because it's all right. The way they gave me it, everyone had just burst out laughing.
Go for it.
No, because they're on it about buns in the oven, and I don't want to give you a bun in the oven. So they just keep saying buns in the oven. But I've got to say that this lady's got a wicked. I thought your other half was bad, but this lady's got a wicked sense of humour as well. And she's laughing her cotton socks off, bless her. Oh, okay, right. She says, I've got to tell you, she's had 2 glasses of Advocaat. I don't know what she put in it, she says, but it used to go straight to her head. So, but a lot of love, a lot of strength, a lot of support, and I'll leave all that with you and say thank you very much. Can I go to the lady, is it in a green dress with blue denim? Yeah. Come to you, please. And as I'm drawn to you, oh, hang on, I am coming to you. It's all right, I've just got a band coming. I've got to go to Jerry, please. I've just got this band coming. I don't know what it is. I've been told a skiffle band has formed upstairs. Do you know what a skiffle band is? Skiffle band?
Not a clue. I'll Google it.
Huh? Yeah. Banjos, guitars, drums. You understand that now? Yeah, banjos, guitars and drums. And they're saying, we never thought it'd be this early, but we're all reunited already. And they're having a whale of a time. I know you've been away, but I do need to give you Essex. Okay, are you sure? Okay. All I can say about Essex is, think about it. I'm just being shown a carrot on a piece of string and it's been dangled in front of you. It's up to you. There's too many nosy people here, so I'm not opening it up any more than that. So I just got to give you Essex and a carrot being dangled in front of you. I do need to bring a lady in, and as this lady comes in, I'm going on Dad's side of the family with this lady as well. And I have got a tightness in the chest with this lady. But she comes in very, very strong. And the reason she's coming in, because she's saying, "Oh, we're peas in a pod, you and me." She says, on the outside, we're sweetness and light. She says, but on the inside, she says, I've got a heart of stone and a right hook that Muhammad Ali would be proud of. I'm not saying you're violent, but she's saying but she's saying she says you know how to look after yourself as much as she knew how to look after herself. But equally as important, family is very, very important to you. Yeah. She's saying others around you don't seem to realise. She's saying that you are doing all the right things and you are moving in the right direction. Yes, life has been hard over the last 4 years. The last 6 months, you've literally been pulling your hair out. You're not knowing which way to turn. But she's saying everything now, slowly but surely, is sorting itself out. They're showing me a hospital as well. With this hospital, they're saying listen and get you, okay. Whoever it is you're going to go and see, they will listen to what you've got to say. And then the conversations can happen. What she's saying is medication and possibly a procedure, not necessarily an operation. No, but she's saying the discussions will take place. And when the discussions take place, you will better understand and they will better understand. And between the two of you, you'll meet in the middle somewhere. And everything will all get sorted out. She's also saying as well, right, okay, she's going, please don't be like your sister. And I'm going, what do you mean? And she goes, can you just leave your hair colour one colour for at least a month?
I am the first one out of hairless.
Because she's saying there's nothing worse than popping in for a chat and somebody's got red hair and then they've got green hair and then they've got pink hair and then they've got purple hair. So she's saying just leave it the same colour for a little while, and can you give them warning upstairs when you're changing it? Also as well, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Okay, I'm going to bring this gentleman in, and with this gentleman, I'm getting very, very much a fatherly vibration with him. And with this gentleman as well, I do feel he could be, in his own way, quite a clever gentleman, but at times he didn't always show it. He's saying to me, keep the pen and paper out. He says, don't put it away. Keep the pen and paper out. And the more you keep that pen and paper out, the more you will keep getting drawn back to it. When you're drawn to it, it will be in your hand, scribble away, and then you can go off and do whatever it was you were doing. Don't sit there going and chewing on it, because nothing will happen. Just leave the pen and paper out. When you get the urge, go scribble, carry on with what you're doing. And it will all stand you in good stead. He needs you to know that he's very, very proud of you. And he sends you a great deal of love and a great deal of support. I don't know who the group is, but he's given me the song, Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves. He says, because you can't be told anything, you two. He says, you do everything your way. And he says, and there's nothing wrong with that, because the gentleman's just saying, in his own way, he did everything his way. He's saying, and would he change? No. He says, and you shouldn't change. Be proud, be positive. Okay. He's also saying, daughter, that must be his granddaughter, who sat next to you.
Yeah, I've got two.
That one?
That one on my own.
No, that one.
Yeah.
He is already very proud of her, the same as you are. He can see what's going to happen. Yeah. His heart's breaking, the same as yours will, a few years down the line. Because she's going to achieve more than you can ever imagine. Okay? And he's saying, just keep her the way she is. Oh, okay. He says, you can take the cotton wool off of her. Because she's like you, she won't break. She'll break everybody else, but she won't break herself. So, but no, there is a great deal of love, strength and support, and I'll leave all that with you, so thank you very much. Well, I'll go to Lady in the Breed now. I'll come back to you. Sorry, I just had that music banging away in the ear and I couldn't say anything. I do need to bring a lady in for you. In fact, there's two ladies coming in for you. Now, the first lady, she comes in, I'm bending at the knees and I feel slightly round-shouldered with her. And as I'm bent at the knees, I'm sort of very slowly walking forwards. And she's going, I like to be independent, me. I like to be independent. She says, I don't like having to rely on other people. And now I can stand up to my full height with this lady because she's in spirit and she wants you to know that she's got her dancing shoes on. And, oh, okay, right. She says, I've been watching you dancing, you know, in the kitchen. She says, you've got some good moves, you have. Not as good as mine, she's saying, but you've got some good moves. Okay, she says, and you don't turn as many heads as I do. Because this lady's coming through, you would understand where the black and white photographs are, with her with her skirt to her knee or just below the knee. But she's got her legs crossed and the skirt is slightly above the knee. And she's going, that's what my legs look like now. And she's very, very proud of herself. But more importantly, she's very, very proud of you. Because what she's saying is, you've never set out to prove anybody wrong, but you set out in life to prove to yourself that you could do it. She says, the thing is, you've never stopped proving it to yourself because you want to go on to the next step and you want to go on to the next step. And she says, keep doing it, keep doing it. She's also saying that you've got a great deal to look forward to. And there is a lot to look forward to. The second lady, as she comes in now, this lady very prim and proper. I'm 5'8". I want to say this lady's 5'8". She might even be a little bit taller, but it's purely because her hair comes forward and up and back. It's quite straight at the top, but I see it sort of curling out on her shoulders. As I say, she's very upright lady. She comes through dressed very smartly, but very casually at the same time. She's saying, it's not about money, it's about you, your personality. And she says, it costs nothing to look after yourself. She says, the thing is, if you can't look after yourself, then you can't look after anybody else. She says, and if you can't look after yourself, you haven't got the right to judge others. But she's also saying as well that you are not like the others. You understand that humans are like books. You need to open the cover and see the pages and see what's inside. So she's saying they may be dressed to the nines on the outside, but they may be common as muck on the inside. But you would get to know that person and you would form your own opinions. And she's just saying as well that over the years, and don't get me wrong because you're still quite a young lady, but over the years, people have said to you, oh, you don't want nothing to do with them, or you don't want to be friends with them. But you get to know them. And you go, there's nothing wrong with them. Others are judging them on personality. But the two ladies are coming in, and they're coming in with a lot of love and a great deal of upliftment for you. They're also getting the flags out. I know what we talked about before the service, but she's saying it's about time. It's about time. She says, but not just that, you've got some lovely friends around you who've been very, very supportive. But, oh, okay, slowly but surely you're letting your barriers come down. Because you put barriers up to protect yourself. Because a bit like somebody over here, going back a bit, your trust was broken. But she's saying, no, you're doing the right thing. But she's just confirming, both of them, that the people that are around you now are the right people. And you've got a lot to look forward to. Also as well, is it you that's got the bad back? Bad back, lower back, possibly going over to your left hip? You get like it, just be aware of it. It's nothing serious, but yeah, just be aware of it. It could be that you just lift a bag out the car wrong you get out moving bed wrong, could be anything, and you'll just feel a little niggle. It'll be fine, providing you take the right precautions for the 24, 36 hours after you feel it. They say everything will be fine. Okay. Also, right, I've got to bring this gentleman in, and as this gentleman comes in, I'm 5'8". He's about 5'9", 5'10". I've got a lot of pain in the centre of my back, so I'm going to say I had issues in the lungs with this gentleman, and I have got a tightness in the chest with him. But he's coming in. He's saying, "You've always had a good pair of ears on you." He says, "and you use those ears to your advantage." I don't know if they make you money as well, but he's saying that's another avenue for you to look at. But he's also saying as well, okay, don't know how to do this. With your left hand, can you just reach over and hover it over that gentleman's knee? No, the next one. Really? Yeah. Is your hand starting to get very hot? You're feeling fine. You're a healer. Now, I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but you are a healer. That is something for you to look at. The gentleman on your left, he will explain it all to you. He's a good healer himself. That's why I wouldn't let you put your hand on him. But no. But this gentleman, as I say, this gentleman comes in and he's saying, "You've always had a good head on your shoulders." And he wants you to know how immensely proud of you he is. And he says, you do need to hear it. Because when people start talking about you, you put the shutters up. Don't want to know. Don't want to know. He says, you do need to know. And he's very, very proud of you. But he's also saying, you were always very special to him. Which one? I need to give you a tiny tears dolly.
I had one.
You had one?
I did have one.
Guess what? This gentleman's got it in spirit. And he says it does work now as well. And I'm saying, what do you mean? He says, water comes out of its eyes and water comes out from down below. So he says, you've got it all working again. So he's on about this tiny tears dolly. He's also saying as well, I've got to give you a curly whirly and chocolate raisin poppets. Do you remember them? Used to come in the box. We all thought we were grown up. All right, and as we're saying we think we're all grown up, I've got to give you a packet of cigarettes, sweet cigarettes. But the ones that look like cigars rather than cigarettes. Remember the brown ones? And if you sucked on them, you get a little red glow on the end. And yeah, you remember him now, don't you? Yeah, and he's, if you can't remember, the lady does. So he's just coming through with memories for you. And a great deal of love. And there is a lot of love coming to you from him. Okay, also, he's telling me, he says, the lady should have said it. He says, but I'll tell her because I had a terrible memory. I went, what? He says, he's brought a cake in, so it's either somebody's birthday or anniversary. And I'm very specific. It's the last 2 weeks or the next 2 weeks. Yeah. So he's brought it in because he's telling me he never had a memory. Everybody used to nudge him and go, it's their birthday. It's their birthday. So he's coming in before the ladies get the chance. But as I say, very, very proud of you. But a lot of love, strength, support. I'll leave all that with you and say thank you very much. Can I go to the lady in the pink, please? Yeah. Don't look so shocked here. The only person who shocks me because I never know where I'm going to or what I'm going to. As I'm coming to you, okay, right, sorry. I need to bring a gentleman in. I've got a lot of pain in my chest with this gentleman. And I've got another gentleman, and I've got a pain around the heart area. So I've got two gentlemen. One gentleman is a chest condition, not his heart, but I find it's very hard for me to breathe. I know I know I've got problems in the lungs, so I don't know if you would understand the gentleman who possibly had something like emphysema, or something similar to that. But I do feel I've got these breathing problems. The other gentleman is not family, he's a friend where the heart condition is. But the two gentlemen are coming in around you. Oh, right. The gentleman who I said like the emphysema or whatever type condition, although he was a very strong man and a very single-minded man, he was a man who would show his emotion, but he didn't like showing it. And the reason I'm saying that is I can feel the tears building up in my eyes, because he just wants to come in and put his arms around you and just give you a big cuddle. And he wants you to know that everything's going to be all right. And he is so, so proud of you. And he's going, will you stop worrying about him? Him. He says he can look after himself. He says he's got so many people looking after him. He says, you don't need to worry. But he's saying, there is lots of changes going on around you. But he's also saying as well, will you be careful what you wish for? But equally as important, how you wish for it. Because he says, one of your favourites is, oh, I wish the family had turned up, but you don't specify when. So the chances are all the family will turn up together on the same day, and then you'll go another 9 months not seeing anybody. So if you want the family to come, one a week, one a month. I don't want a football crowd in my back garden all in one day. So he's saying everything will be all right. He's also telling me that both of them are also telling me as well that somebody around you hasn't been very well recently, but they're saying they're on the road to recovery now. It may not be 100% recovery, but they're on the road to recovery. And things are on the bright side and things are on the up. There is a lady who comes forward now. Sorry, and as this lady comes in, she's about 5'3", 5'4". I'm terribly sorry. I've got terrible heartburn with this lady. I've got Andrew's liver salts that she used to swear by, and Alka-Seltzers, and anything else she could lay her hands on. And then I've got another lady who's a little bit taller. Okay, I'll tell her that way. A cuddly lady, she's telling me. I was going to say rounded. She's telling me cuddly, and I'm not going to argue with her. But I do feel with that lady, this is in later years, I do feel like a reflux condition with her. But the two ladies are coming in now, and they're coming in with a lot of love and a lot of strength and a lot of upliftment for you. They're also saying as well, will you please take each day at a time? She says, you're very good at, right, you get something planned for Saturday, and it's Monday, and you're like, oh, I wish it was Saturday. Oh, I wish it was Saturday. You've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to live. What do you want Saturday to come for? Because the thing is, Saturday comes and it's a damp squib. Because they either don't turn up, or the cooker blows up, or the freezer packs in, or whatever. So they're saying, just take each day as it comes. And you want the house decorating, they're telling me. If you want it decorating, do it yourself, because then the only person you've got to blame is you. If you get him or the other half to do it, the Third World War will start. So if you want it doing, you either do it yourself, or you say, I'm going on holiday for a week, I've got a man in, you leave the instructions and let them get on with it. And just because I live here near you, no, I'm not doing it for you neither. But yeah, so they're all joining in around you now. They're telling me that you've got aches and pains. Oh, you're one of them here. I've got a pain in my stomach. Oh, Nan had gallstones. Well, I wonder if I've got gallstones. Then I've got a pain in my back. Oh, I bet I've got arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis. Then your fingers aren't working. I mean, It's just aches and pains. You're not 21 anymore, you're 25. You can't have everything your way. I have to say that because the last time I said it, I got into trouble because I told this lady that she was 91. I was 10 years out, she was 101. So I just say 21 and 25. So they say when you get to 25, you do get aches and pains. Oh, okay. Do you know where a computer is? Do you know where a mobile phone is?
In around all.
Do you know where the tablet is?
Yeah.
Well, when you get home, you find all three. Will you take Google off it? Because she keeps searching doctor, self-diagnosis. So take Google off it. If not, chuck them in. No, don't, because she'll come round and say I've got to buy her a new phone. Yeah, but no, they're just all coming in, as I say, with a lot of love, with a lot of strength, and they just want you to look to the future. Look to the future. If you want to dye your hair pink for the cause, go for it. But they're a bit worried about the tattoo.
Which one?
The one that you're thinking about having done.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
It could take you 2 or 3 sittings.
Not be that big.
No, it may be just a case of, I've had enough. I'll come back next week. That one. So they're just on about the tattoo. But they're saying it's your life. If you want it, you go for it. But there is a lot of love, strength and support. And I'll leave all that with you and say thank you very much. It's all right. It's all right. Is that it? Finished?
That's it.
Is it?
Yeah, I did try and tell you one more twice, so you got away with it.
Right, apparently I've gone over the top. Well, I'm used to computer screen and he just blanks me out, so I talk to himself. Can I just say it's been an absolute pleasure being with you all this evening. I hope you've enjoyed the evening. I hope I've not upset too many of you. Please, if you enjoyed the evening, not me, if you enjoyed the evening, you enjoyed the experience, please support Nick and his team next week, but bring your friends along as well. It's a big hall, you can get lots of people in, as long as they know. So please continue supporting them. It is an honour and a privilege to see so many of you here tonight, and so many of you from other centres.
Yes.
I'll put that in. And thank you for coming to support me. It means a great deal. Now pass it off to you.
God bless you, mate. John! Yes! And I will just say, there's absolutely no problem with advertising said other centre, because they're on a Tuesday night, so we don't clash. You know, so if you're ever in Prickwillow on a Tuesday night, which I know a few people were, then there you go.
As of October, if you're ever in March on a Monday night, Barbara would love to see you.
Yes!
I'll get that one in for you.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't know, because I thought you was waiting until next year, you see. So you start back in October. 4th of October.
You don't want to go on the 4th of October because it's me.
Oh, now there's anyone out March way on the 4th of October, we know what you're going to be doing. Seriously, though, John, thank you so, so much. And for me, hello, Mother.
We've got John again on the 23rd of September.
And we've got John again on the 23rd of September. There you go. Apparently so.
Yeah.
Well, you booked it with her less than a month ago.
I don't book them. I just say yeah. I don't know what dates they are.
It's been a really, really, for me personally, uplifting and emotional night to be able to get back to what I enjoy. So a big thank you to our technical guru, Jack. And of course, a big thank you to our mediumship, John. Massive thank you for the reading. And as I look around at all of the wonderful smiling faces, I'm reminded by one in particular of how old I am. Because I do recall her being in this hall once before at least, only a very different size. Am I correct? About that big. I've still got photographic proof, and I will embarrass you with it later. That's the joy of Facebook. No, it's wonderful. Thank you all so much for turning out and supporting what we do here. You know, support any church that works really, really hard to provide anything of truth to the world, because we need more churches and more centres who speak truth. And I think anyone who knows Jerry knows that she don't say nothing other than the bloody truth. But there you go, that's another story. But it's absolutely important to support spiritualism, spiritual activity and mediumship, because only by supporting spiritual mediumship can we get the truth of love and compassion out into the world. Now, I know there's a lot of you here tonight. Thank you for prompting that. I wasn't going to say it, but you know, if I don't get a chance to speak to you, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's just that I haven't seen you, although I have been having a beady eye on all of you all through the night and sending my love to you all. So if we do get the chance to speak, great. We will have, the kitchen will be open shortly. There's tea and there's coffee. It's all COVID safe. It's all prepared in cups ready. All you got to do is add milk, sugar, and obviously the boiling water. Please be careful. But we're also going to have the raffle in a moment when I hand over the service to my glamorous assistant. Yes, they're staying online tonight. It's a birthday. The fan club can celebrate. They're in camera. So the fan club can get going. Sam, there you go. Sam's gone right. They're doing the lap to get the bucket off Mother. But of course, this is a service. So we must end it, as every service does, in prayer. So let's join together. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love and hope and friendship, to prove the truth by giving the proof that life is indeed eternal, and that by coming together and uniting and demonstrating love and compassion and kindness, we can give a route map to the world through your guidance, that unconditional love will save the world. And as we go out into the world and we know that there is difficulty in it, we ask that your light and your love shine upon it. And in days of strife and struggle, we ask that simple message, that simple truth, and that simple request. We ask you, Great Spirit, not to move the mountain. Just give us the strength to climb. Until we meet again, in your name. Amen. Amen. So, I did mention earlier about traditions and all that sort of thing. I'm reminded that you do share your birthday with another notable medium of repute. So I do know he tends to watch after his service is finished, because I know he does do stuff on a Thursday night. So Tim Abbott, if you are watching or see this, happy birthday for tomorrow, dear boy. Yes, Tim, as he used to say. But of course, no birthday's the same without singing it, is it? So after 3, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Hannah and Tim. Happy birthday to you, and many more. Friends, thank you all. May the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. But until next week, it's time for handing over for the raffle. But first, I must remember my manners. A big thank you to John Ennis. A big thank you to everyone. A big thank you to Jack, who's freed me up to be the nutcase I shouldn't supposed to be. And of course, thank you to Sam and Hannah for looking after the raffle, and Mum for letting you all in. And thank you all for being part of it. Thank you all for being part of it. And now, it's over to them two there. You sure?
545.
545. 545. Excellent. Do not pick the sanitizer. Do not pick the bucket. Do not pick the instructions. Everything else is right.
479. 479.
479.
All right, now that you're getting around. But I don't want to live it. Good.
Four, seven, six.
476.
That one as well. Eight. 488. 488.
488.
488. Five, four, four.
544.
Put it back.
Is it 544?
Yeah, 544.
Yes, put it back.
Oh, okay. Prolonging the special moment.
539. 539.
539.
Oh, that's.
Oh.
Pick up. Right. Okay. It's that moment. What time is it, Hannah? It's Bully's special prize. Bully's special prize is...
Five, four, zero. 540.
540, anyone?
When is your birthday? Have you got electrics tidying up? Oh! And now it's time for the even more Bully special prize. Well, we've done it now, haven't we? I messed up. I confess. I screwed up. But now you've got to pick who wins the real special prize. So, this is encaustic art and Hannah. See, it rhymes. I'm a poet, you didn't know.
471.
471.
Did you get where? The encaustic art is the winner. You see, you got a pair now, they'll be worth a fortune. Friends, humans, countrymen, lend me your ear. Thank you for looking after the Raffle, for your ever increasing encaustic art. But thank you all for being here. Now, it goes without saying, you're probably all a bit dry, so get your backsides in the kitchen. It's tea and coffee time.
Good night. God bless. May the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. Hit it, Maestro.